a Russian pilot tried to shoot down an RAF surveillance plane after believing he had permission to fire, the BBC has learned. The pilot fired 2 missiles, the first of which missed rather than malfunctioned as claimed at the time. Russia had claimed the incident last September was caused by a technical malfunction. The UK's Ministry of Defence, MOD, publicly accepted the Russian explanation, but now 3 senior Western defence sources with knowledge of the incident have told the BBC that Russian communications intercepted by the RAF RC-135 Rivet Joint aircraft give a very different account from the official version. The RAF plane, with a crew of up to 30, was flying a surveillance mission over the Black Sea in international airspace on 29 September last year when it encountered 2 Russian Su-27 fighter jets. The intercepted communications show that one of the Russian pilots thought he had been given permission to target the British aircraft, following an ambiguous command from the Russian ground station. However, the second Russian pilot did not. He remonstrated and swore at his wingman when he fired the first missile. The Rivet Joint is loaded with sensors to intercept communications. The RAF crew would have been able to listen into the incident, which could have resulted in their own deaths. The MOD will not release details of those communications. Responding to these new revelations, and MOD spokesperson said, "Our intent has always been to protect the safety of our operations, avoid unnecessary escalation and inform the public and international community." As the 2 Russian Su-27s approached the RAF spy plane, they received a communication from their ground station controller. One Western source told the BBC the words they received were to the effect of "You have the target." This ambiguous language was interpreted by one of the Russian pilots as permission to fire. The loose language appears to have shown a high degree of unprofessionalism by those involved, sources said. In contrast, NATO pilots use very precise language when asking for and receiving permission to fire. The Russian pilot released an air-to-air missile, which successfully launched but failed to lock onto its target. The BBC has been told it was a miss, not a malfunction. Defense sources have told the BBC that a row then broke out between the 2 Russian pilots. The pilot of the second Su-27 did not think they had been given permission to fire. He is said to have sworn at his comrade, effectively asking him what he thought he was doing. Yet the first pilot still released another missile. "We had been told that the second missile simply fell from the wing, suggesting the weapon either malfunctioned or that the launch was aborted." 3 weeks later, the UK government confirmed the incident had taken place, after an explanation from the Russian Ministry of Defence called it a technical malfunction. In a statement to MPs on 20 October, the then Defence Secretary Ben Wallace called it a potentially dangerous engagement. But he accepted the Russian explanation, saying, "We do not consider this incident to constitute a deliberate escalation on the part of the Russians, and our analysis concurs that it was due to a malfunction." However, a secret intelligence leak revealed that the U.S. military spoke of what happened in more stark terms. In a raft of documents, published online by U.S. Airman Jack Tixra, the same incident was described as a near shootdown. The incident was far more serious than originally portrayed and could have amounted to an act of war, the New York Times reported. According to 2 U.S. defense officials, the newspaper said, the Russian pilot had misinterpreted an order from the ground. The Russian pilot who'd locked on the British aircraft fired, but the missile did not launch properly. The newspaper also quoted an unnamed U.S. defense official describing the incident as really scary. In response to the leaked report of a near shoot-down, the UK MOD issued another statement which added more fog than clarity. The MOD claimed a significant proportion of the content of these reports, from the documents, is untrue, manipulated or both.